So hello everybody and welcome once again to the latest episode of the Case Broadcast. It's me, Patrick Twitchett, the Simplifier, and
it's also me, and a very good day to you all, Melvin Manning from M&M Consultancy.
And it's a hello from our guest today.
Hey, how's it going? This is Raj Subrameyer. We're super excited to be here.
Excellent.
Lovely to see you, Raj.
And so welcome all to our Case Broadcast. As we often tell people, we run our monthly workshops and our closed mastermind groups, but we run this broadcast where we bring you some topics, and we'll be going through a topic with our guest Raj today. So as I often say, I'll keep forgetting to say this in the right place, but listen out, listen up, and listen in. And there we go. And the topic today is on personal branding. And Raj, I'd like you first to let our audience know who you are, and just give us a quick 30-second burst of who you are and what you do, please.
Yeah, so I'm a tech career strategist. So I help people specifically in the tech space to find their dream job and become successful leaders in the industry. I've been in the tech space for over 16 plus years now, and I've helped 50 plus clients to get unstuck in their careers and have positive personal life and career transformation. So that's what I do.
Excellent, excellent. And I know you, as we discussed before, you've got an array of topics that you can talk about. You've had some great successes, and you've even got some TEDx talks under your belt as well. Is that right?
Yeah, that is right. It happened last year, at least in terms of the TEDx talks, and it was quite a journey for 4 years. It took me to get there, but yeah, I gave 2 TEDx talks. The first one is out. It's called The Positive Side of Comparison, or the catchy title was Comparing Myself to Others Saved My Life. So that's the title. And the other one, it was about how you could use comparison to fuel your growth. It was geared towards the younger audience. And the second talk was on toxic leadership. It was about my story of being a toxic leader and how toxic leaders can recognize their traits and take actions towards positive change. And that's not out yet, but so those are the 2 TEDx talks, and things have been going well.
Excellent, excellent. So I know today we're going to talk about personal branding and the stages of that as well. And I know that'll be right up Melvin's street. So lead us on, Raj, with the talk. Where personal branding, I think most people are aware of what it is, but if you could, for our audience, for those that may not be too familiar with it, please elaborate on that a little bit so they get an idea of the picture of where we're going today, please.
Yeah, sure. So I like to make things simpler. So for your audience, this is the picture I'm going to paint, right? Say, for example, you're using your favorite brand of body wash, okay? And you've been using it for 8 years. There are different facets of it, which makes you go buy that brand of body wash again and again. It's not just the fragrance, it's not just the packaging, it's not just the color, it's not just the pricing, it's not just the durability where you drop it on your bathtub and it doesn't split open. It's all these facets which makes you go towards that particular brand of body wash again and again. And our lives, our careers, our business is the same way. If people want to come to you, it's different facets of you which appeals to them. If you have repeat customers coming to you, it's not just because of one facet that you're honest. It's not just because you are trustworthy. It's not just because you have a great social media following, but it's about all these things which make up your personal brand. And if you want people to trust you, buy from you, if you want to genuinely do business with people and impact their lives, then your personal brand comes into picture. So that's what I tell people, why it's important and and of course, we're going to talk about different facets of it, but in a nutshell, that's what I think of personal brand.
So people that want to establish that, and I know you're gonna go through that journey today. Where do they need to sort of initiate and start out that journey, do you feel?
I think first thing first is you need to figure out who your ideal audience is, right? You need to find your niche. So for example, I brand myself as tech career strategist. I'm not a life coach. I'm not a business coach. I'm not a marketing coach. I'm not a psychotherapy coach or whatever coaches are there right now. I'm a tech career strategist. I help people specifically in the tech space to get unstuck in their careers. So that is my niche, right? So my advice for people would be, first step is finding your niche. And some ways to do that would be lock yourself in a room, take a paper and pen for an hour, no interruptions, no Facebook messaging, just let your mind flow. Write down all the things which you think you're good at, which you think would help people, right? You may have a list of, say, 5 things, 10 things, 15 things, or 2 things, or 1 thing, whatever that list may be. And then figure out, okay, out of these lists, what are the top 3 things which appeals to me, which could impact people and maps to my strengths. Once you have the top 3 things, the next journey is experimentation. So pick the top one, experiment with it for a month, and then analyze the results, saying, okay, say for example, you wanted a blog, you're good at blogging. I'm just giving random examples here. And you think that's going to impact people, blogging about finance, right? So start doing that for 2 weeks. Start analyzing the traffic to your website. Start analyzing how many people are interacting with it. Start analyzing whether those topics appeal to the people. So that experimentation journey is, you're going to learn a lot. One thing you may learn is, okay, this is a shitty idea. Then you probably then have to move on to the second one, right? So first is finding a niche. Second one is experimentation, okay? And then once you experiment with it, then you're going to figure out, okay, something which you're really passionate about. Then the third thing is the building your audience, targeted audience. So for example, my audience is tech folks, right? So I came up with strategies to speak to them. Some of the strategies, since we're talking about strategies, so some of them included building your social media footprint, where using social media to provide value, provide content to your target audience so that people start recognizing you. Because this is the thing, folks, if you have a great service, great product, you cannot just keep telling people, please buy it, please buy it. No one is going to buy it until they establish trust, until you have established trust and credibility and provide value. Yeah. So those are the 3 things which comes in the third stage of figuring out the strategies. And part of that is building a social media footprint, building your network, and then different ways to build that credibility, which we can talk more. But I would say start with these 3 things, which would be, again, finding your niche, experimentation, and then coming up with a game plan.
Okay, and you talk about building a social media footprint, and I'm sure I can attest and relate to many on this, that when you first jump onto social media, especially the what they call the organic reach, is it's almost like trying to throw a grappling hook over a 15-foot high brick wall. It's a very long process. Is there, I know there's no immediate shortcuts, but is there any way to accelerate that initial journey? Because it does seem for many that it's months and months, maybe years before they can really penetrate that market.
That's a great question, because I think a lot of people struggle with it, and there's so many multiple factors associated with building your social media footprint. We already talked about finding your niche and your ideal audience, right? So once you've gone through the process, now you have to figure out which social media platform to use. You have Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you have so many, and then your Twitter, so many different social media platforms. And often people get confused and overwhelmed with all these platforms. But what my advice would be is figure out where your ideal audience live, and and have conversations. For example, I'm going to use me as an example. Tech folks use LinkedIn primarily to have meaningful conversations. But if you are in the photography business or the fitness business, then probably Instagram is where a lot of people have those kind of conversations. So first thing is choose a social media platform, and don't overcomplicate it, because it's not that if you choose a social media platform, you can never use another social media platform later, right? Start with something, because if you just keep thinking, then there's no action, there's no doing, right? So pick a social media platform where your ideal audience have conversations, number one. Number two, come up with a plan. Say you would think about the pain points of your ideal audience and start posting content related to that, right? So for example, in the tech space, there are a lot of pain points, which would be working with toxic leaders, finding jobs, then career shifts. So identify different pain points of your ideal audience and then start posting content. And you don't have to post content every single day. Of course, I do it because, again, I've lived this for the past 5 years. But if you're starting off, just have a smaller goal. Say, I'm going to post content 2 times a week. Do that for a month, right? Start small and start simple. So social media platforms, using it, then posting, say, 2 times a week, having a goal, and then writing down in a Word document or on a notepad saying, okay, what topic are you going to post? Say you have to do 2 posts per week, which means that you have to do 8 posts per month. So what are each post about? What is the theme of the post? What's a pain point you're addressing? So do that, and then block some time on your calendar to write that content. And when I say write that content, people think that they have to have this magnificent content with amazing words and inspiring words and stuff. It doesn't happen immediately. What I would say is, again, don't overthink it. It could just be 3 lines. It could be a poll. There's so many different options you could do, but just do something. So once you do those 3 things, then you start analyzing how many people are commenting, liking, what type of comments are happening, right? So those are going to give you some data points. And finally, see what other people are doing in your space. How are they posting stuff? How are they getting the audience? What type of topics are they talking about, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel, people. Even Steve Jobs and Bill Gates copied everything from the Sparks lab in Palo Alto, right? And they went there, they said, man, you have these touchscreens and stuff, you're not doing anything about it. And then Bill Gates went and did Microsoft, and then Steve Jobs did Mac, right? So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to make an existing idea better or different. But again, as you see, I can keep talking about a lot of strategies, but to get people started, I think those 3 things would help. That is choosing a social media platform, then coming up with a plan on how many times you want to post content. Third thing is analyzing the results, right? And those 3 things would really, really help. And worst come worst, if you think, no one is actually interacting with your posts, it could be because you're not probably putting the right posts out there, or you just have to be a little bit more patient because no one knows you. You have to keep providing value for people to start following you, right? Because people immediately get bogged down saying, man, I don't have 5,000 followers in 1 week. No, that doesn't happen. It'll happen for Gary Vee, but it doesn't happen for people who are just starting off, right? So don't have unrealistic expectations, especially when using social media platforms. Just because a person has 100,000 followers, it doesn't mean he or she is successful, because out of those 100,000 followers, maybe only 1% of them are their ideal audience, right? But say if I have 5,000 followers on LinkedIn, but all those 5,000 followers are actually my ideal audience. I'm very picky on who I connect with. So I could get more business out of those 5,000 followers than having 100 or 200,000 of meaningless followers, right? So you have to start thinking about, okay, what is real? What are my expectations?
So Raj, let's go back a step.
Mhm.
You've got a novice in front of you, someone that's just started up. How do they get that reach, and over what period of time?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's also very subjective, right? So if a novice is starting off, how would they get their reach? That first thing is being consistent. So you need to consistently start posting, because once you say every Monday and every Thursday, you post something meaningful and people start interacting with it. If you're consistent, then people start expecting content on Monday and Thursday. So consistency is the key to start, increasing that reach. The second thing is you could start commenting on other people's posts who are giving value. And if you provide proper value, then they will start commenting on your post. That means you're getting their followers into your domain, right?
That's right. That's right.
So that's the second thing you want to do. Start carving out time to comment on other people's posts who have large amount of followers and who are super influencers, because you can funnel their traffic into yours. But you have to provide value though, because now people have become smarter. They hate it when people just comment so that they could funnel their followers into your post. So you have to provide value, right? So I would say those two things will help to organically grow. But then you could start doing other stuff, like you could start blogging and say, hey, follow me on LinkedIn. Or you could say, you can have a newsletter and say, hey, by the way, I'm on LinkedIn. So you start encouraging people to click on your LinkedIn post and then make them think. I would say those would be some 3 good starting points for novices.
Is your strength in LinkedIn, or do you go over to the other platforms too?
I predominantly do LinkedIn, but then I diversify my content. That's a more advanced topic which we could talk about, where if you have one content on LinkedIn, literally you could actually post that on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, right?
So you're quite heavy on video, yeah?
Yep, I'm heavy on video.
So obviously, do you take edits of what you do and produce, and then post that on Instagram, or perhaps put something into Facebook business?
Exactly. So let me give you a good workflow so that even your listeners can actually follow the strategy, right?
Yeah.
So what I do is the name of the game is how you can milk maximum amount of impact from a content, right? Yeah. So that is the name of the game. So what I do is, first I'll record a video, okay, for LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my primary audience. And then I'll transcribe it, okay? When I say transcribe, for people who don't know what that means, is you're getting the text out of the video. And there's so many different tools you could actually use for that, right?
Yeah.
So now I have a video, then I have text, right? Then I have a whole Trello board where I start taking bits and pieces of this text, and it could be tweetables on Twitter. And then I would convert the text into slides. Then I could put that on Instagram. And then pretty much similar kind of content as LinkedIn, I just posted on Facebook. So just by recording one video, now I'm multiplying my content across different streams. Yes, it is time consuming at first, but then once you get a hang of it and have strategies and pipelines set up, you can start diversifying your platform impact. So in that way, you don't have the FOMO, that is fear of missing out from other platforms, right? So you could focus on your main thing, but then just use the same content and multiply it across different social media platforms. In that way, you're present on all platforms. So personally, for me, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. But my main content is LinkedIn. And whatever I put on LinkedIn is literally going into other streams. And I have a content marketing strategy plan. I have a 30-day plan. For every month, I sit down for 4 hours and then write down what content going every day, because I post every day, almost every day. And then I have to record videos. So you have to block time. You have to record videos. You have to plan the strategy of what content is going for the next 30 days, and then start structuring your stuff. And my advice would be, use something like Trello, where you have different cards, and then you could start moving different cards amongst different social media platforms, so that you know every day what's happening. And of course, I have employees who work for me, so they help to handle those stuff. My job is provide the content, but I taught them how to do the content multiplying strategy.
So Trello, for the listeners and viewers' benefit, if they're not familiar with it, how would you title that as a platform? What does it do for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's good to clarify it. So Trello is just a task mapping tool where it helps to organize the different things you have to do in life, right? It could be as simple as, on a daily basis, say you have to drop off your kid, then you have to cook, then you have to clean the kitchen, and then you have to work on writing a blog post, and then you have to work out. You could just put these 5 things as 5 separate tasks on Trello, right?
Yeah.
And then you could sequence it in terms of when you're going to do it, right? Maybe first you want to drop off your kid before working out because your kid needs to go to daycare. I'm talking about my life right now, but the point is I'm just giving a really simple example. So it's just a task mapping tool where you can organize your thoughts and then visually see what progress are you making, right? Usually I have the different tasks, and then I move it through different streams. When I say different streams, different statuses. So it'll be to do, then it'll be in progress, and then it'll be blocked or it'll be complete. There are 4 statuses possible. So say I'm working out, I could move it into in progress when I'm actually working out. And when I'm done, I'll move it to complete. And then at the end of the day, when you look at the tasks, you'll see all the things in the complete, and then you feel good about it. Okay, I done everything, right? So that's what Trello does. And you have other tools as well. You have Asana, you have Todoist, you have millions of task mapping exercises, but Trello does the trick. And I'm a tech guy, so tech folks usually for some reason we use Trello quite a bit. But yeah, you can figure out what works for you, but Trello will be a really good start, and it's free.
You're offering that value, and you've spoken about that value, and you spoke about using that to build credibility. So how do you gradually build that credibility with your audience?
So that goes back to my previous point, where you start having a plan and being consistent, and then providing value. When you do that over a period of time, then people start noticing. They'll think that, man, this guy is authentic, or this woman is authentic, right? Or this person is authentic. And then they start listening to you, and then commenting on you, following you, connecting with you. That's how you start building that credibility. That's how you know that you're actually building credibility. And once you build credibility and trust, when you have a service to offer, people already know you. They know your story. They know that you always provide value. So they'll be more open to talking to you rather than just a new person showing up and saying, buy my service. So in terms of growing your value, it'll be, and I mean, credibility, it will be by consistently offering value to your ideal audience. And that's how you build credibility. And that's how your business starts growing. That's how you get leads, and you can convert them into customers as well.
Okay, but when I think of someone, I've obviously on social media myself, and I see people, putting value out there. When it comes to working with someone, I mean, personal brand is your reputation, isn't it? And
right,
as we all know, that reputation is an uphill struggle, and over a very long time to build a good reputation. And as we can see all around the world, it just takes a quick moment to destroy years and years of a good reputation. So you're obviously building that reputation, but how about the people in your audience to get that credibility of what you actually deliver? Because you've been showing value, but then you offer a service. For example, what you do, you offer a service. How do you get that credibility across to your audience? Because that's slightly different than just adding value. Something to say how credible you are and what you can actually do as a business.
Yeah, I think that's a great question as well. Like, how do you say you're providing value, then all of a sudden you have a service? How do you make people, trust that service you're offering as well, right? Would that be a good summary of your question?
Yeah, can you actually deliver that? That sort of, because those are the
Yeah.
questions that you're going to ask yourself, especially if you're going to pay for a service, you're going to think, can this actually be delivered?
That's where your content marketing strategy comes into picture. So for example, I'm starting a group coaching program on goal setting next week. Okay. And I knew I'm going to start it next week, way back in December. So
Okay.
I planned all my content related to goals. If you see my content in December till today, everything was related to goal setting, goal setting, goal setting, goal setting. Human beings are creatures of a habit, and you constantly have to be reminded about different things. When they start seeing patterns, then the mind immediately recognizes those patterns. So for example, what I did was, so all my content was based on the goal setting theme. So you constantly keep saying, here are goal setting 101, give some small nuggets on different things you're going to cover, but also by providing value. And then people know that, okay, this guy is an authority in goal setting. And then bam, when I actually advertise my goal setting coaching program, people already know that, okay, this guy has talked about goal setting quite a bit. So I think he's trustable, right? So that is one, which is start posting content based on a theme of what you're going to do based on your service. Second thing is, I think having webinars saying, I'm going to teach you one-on-one of goal setting. You could do a 30-minute webinar before the group coaching program or whatever program you're doing. And then in that 30 minutes, you can offer some value, and then making people want for more. And then towards the end, you would say, if you want to know more, then sign up for my service, right? So that is another way to actually let people know that, yeah, you're credible, because in this 30 minutes itself, you've given so many golden nuggets. Then imagine what I could get if I join your service or your coaching program, right? Yeah. So that is one thing. And then another thing is, I love making promo videos of different things. So if you go to my profile and look at my growth accountability program, that's the coaching program promo video, there I make video of explaining the program, having some testimonials, right? So that also helps to build that credibility. I think those three things, if you follow as a strategy, then people start trusting your service. And again, it doesn't happen overnight. The first group coaching program I started 4 years ago, I had 0 people who signed up. So that is going to happen. That will happen. But use that experience saying, okay, what worked, what didn't work? And then the next time I had 2, next time I had 4, this time I have 8, right? So everything happens organically and needs patience. One problem with the current world is we don't believe in the power of delayed gratification. So what do I mean by that? We go to Instagram, Facebook, and see these social media influencers having their Ferrari, having their big lifestyle, and then everyone wants to become like him or her. But they don't know the background story, whether that person is in $200,000 debt, and having a social media profile to preserve that image, or they don't know how much effort which goes into it. And people think they want to become an overnight success. So that's why when people ask me, how do you become such a motivational, inspiring speaker? I said, yeah, it took me 15 years to get to where I am today. Everything takes time. So the only thing you need to think about is have a strategy and be consistent and do the actual freaking work, because that's when you can actually see results. So that's believing in the power of delayed gratification. That's how you grow.
So perhaps on another occasion, we could do another podcast on what an influencer is. However, however, does what you put out there cover the various channels that people find themselves in? Because a consultant, a commodity product, a service-based industry, does all of what you do cover that, or do you have to massage it to make it fit the various types? I'm a business consultant. I am putting myself out there to engage with people. I manufacture mugs. I now need to get my mugs out there. In another area, I'm in banking and finance. I have a service that I want to get out there. So in your world, are the processes the same, or are there adjustments to be made?
There's always adjustments to be made, because what you think may work for your ideal audience is not always the case. Sometimes it doesn't work, and you really need to massage how you market stuff. But you should always be true to your mission, though. My mission is to impact people and change their personal lives and careers. Okay, so I can make changes to my coaching program to attract the ideal audience, but I cannot cheat them, or and lose my trust. So there's a fine balance between how you massage your messaging and content to whether it totally goes away from what you actually set out to do. But you always would have to keep massaging and making changes to your service, because times change. With COVID, if one thing in the status, things change, you have to pivot, right? Times change. If your business was in-person workshops, dude, you're screwed. You have to do virtual workshops right now.
Yeah.
So that means you would have to change the way you're providing that service. Yeah. I think as entrepreneurs, all of us here, I think it's a part of our life. You have to adapt to the changing times.
You made a very important point at the very beginning of this podcast. A lot of people get confused. A lot of people are frustrated with the fact that I'm not seeing any results. I'm putting all this work in and nothing's happening. I'm engaging with X thousands of people, but I'm not getting any, let's say, inquiries or questions asked of me. Yep. So from what I'm hearing is that you can obviously take people on a different journey.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you could always try different things and analyze it, because as Albert Einstein said, insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of people keep doing the same thing. But I think you really have to get data and analyze it. And also, I would be lying if I don't say this, that I hired coaches to help me out. I didn't do everything alone. So I had a business coach, then I had a speaking coach, then I had a book coach to write my book. Because this is the thing, folks. If someone has already gone through the pain and the journey of what you are about to go through, why don't you get the golden nuggets and strategies right from the fire hose instead of you wasting 5 to 10 years? So I've spent a lot of money in my personal development. Like there was a post last year where I was trying to do my tax stuff for my finance, and I spent $26,000 just in personal growth and in the past year and a half, which is crazy. But people do not know that the $26,000 which I spent actually gave me bigger ROI, return of investment, from a business standpoint, from a speaking standpoint, from a book standpoint. My book is a bestseller. It won an award as a best nonfiction book. Then I've given 2 TEDx talks right now, and then my business is a 6-figure business. So all the investment you make, think about it, because it's about trying to not reinvent the wheel, and hiring people who you trust could help you out, right? So I also hired coaches to help me out, but change starts within you first. You just have to be patient, especially in the entrepreneur business. You just have to be patient.
Yeah.
So Patrick, do we want to get back on brand?
Back on brand. Well, yeah, I mean, so you brought us to this place anyway, where we've built some credibility, and I liked where you spoke about your third-party validation, which comes from testimonials, because I think people do need to see that, because if it's just you saying, yes, I'm great, they need to hear that from other people, don't they? Because we can all say we're great, but it needs to come from other people. But how do you then go to grow and expand and then work with that network? You spoke about webinars and everything else. Is there any other implementations that people can make?
Oh, yeah. So related to that question is also growing your network, right? So once you start commenting on other people's posts, then they start recognizing you, and then get on a call, one-on-one call with them, and try to let them know, hey, I'm struggling with this. How do you do it? Right.
Yeah.
And then entrepreneurship could be a really lonely world, but it doesn't have to be, because there are a lot of people, going through the same journey. So what I would say is build a trusted network of entrepreneurial friends who you could always, talk to, like your mastermind group, which you do, as part of your program, because each one become vulnerable and start sharing what problems they're having. That is number one. Having an accountability group could really help you get to the next level. And then second thing would be, you could also partner with people in programs and stuff, So you could say, for example, I'm a tech career strategist. I don't work with marketing people or salespeople. If marketing or salespeople say, hey, I want to become a better marketer, I already have a friend who does marketing and sales coaching. So I refer them to my friend, and my friend, anything related to tech, will refer clients to me. So you start building this ecosystem of trusted circle of people, right? And then you just help one another out. And that's how you grow. Because when I started, yes, I was in red for 2-3 years. When I say I'm in red, that means I spent more money than I actually got. And now I'm running a 6-figure business because I have a small circle of trust of entrepreneurs I trust, who are now my close friends. And I will do anything for them, and they would do the same for me, although each one is in a different business, right? So I would say, apart from all the strategies which I just mentioned, form your own trust circle and then help each other out. Because when you help each other out, that's when everyone grows, and you'll be surprised how you get newer opportunities and newer ideas by doing that as well. So I think that would be one more thing, which would be, building your trust circle and, branching out.
Do you have a belief in encouraging people to have buddies, business buddies?
Yeah, people could definitely be business buddies, but you should just be careful on who that is, right? Because they should be able to challenge you and make you better. And they should not have the same strengths as you, because then there's no use, because I'm really good in strategy and planning, right? I don't want another person who's good in strategy and planning. I want a person who's good in marketing and communication and risk taking.
Sure.
You need your buddy to complement the other person. For me, my wife is my buddy, and but I run the business. I'm the face of the business, but she does a lot of stuff in the background, right? So she, all the articles I write for Entrepreneur, Forbes, she's the person who actually proofread stuff. When I give talks, I'm known for humor, and I actually sit and write jokes for each and every talk. And then I practice talk jokes with her. She'll say, this crappy, no, this good. So the point is, you just have to find the trust person. And I think it's hard.
But I'm just trying to qualify your point about the fact that people find that they're lonely. They don't. The point I'm trying to make with your help is they don't have to be.
And it doesn't mean you always have to partner with someone to not to feel lonely, because even if you partner with someone, you could still feel lonely by not opening up to your partner, right? So I think not being lonely starts with you and just having those trusted people. It could be your partner at work, in your business, or it could be these friends who you meet with once a month on a Zoom call, because now it's COVID, and you just talk about, hey, what are you feeling? What are the struggles you're going through? And let's talk about it. It's like a group therapy session, but with trusted people and entrepreneurial friends who get the problem. Because like we three get a lot of stuff related to entrepreneurship, building a business. I cannot just go to a random person who's been having a 9-to-5 job for the past 35 years and say, dude, the sales page, this copy is not working, man. This copy is not hitting the point. First of all, they will not understand what a copy is, and then why is it that important? They don't get it. You need someone to speak the same language, who have gone through the same problems. So that's why if you don't want to feel lonely, then connect with people who are better than you and who could actually build you higher.
So are you a believer in surround yourself with people more clever than yourself?
100%. You have to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you and better than you, because that's when you learn. Because if you surround yourself with people who have the same skill sets and you are lack skill sets, then it's a wasted effort because you're not going to grow. You may help other people grow, but you personally are not going to grow. But if you surround yourself with people with different skill sets, other skill sets which you don't have, then you can impart your skill sets to them and they do the thing, the same thing in return.
Yeah.
Well, for the first time in 2 years that I've been doing these podcasts with Patrick, this is what Case Mastermind, which is why we're here with you, which is why, I'm so delighted to be with you on screen, is what we do for our, let's say, members, people that like to come and attend, and throw out all these situations so they can get resolution.
Right.
So that obviously, I mean, we have a phrase here, I'm sure you have it there, where, we try and encourage smart working.
Yeah.
Work smarter, not harder.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to interview the interviewers here. So Melvin, Mr. Melvin. So how has it been? So how has it been working with Patrick?
Well,
He's an awesome guy who compliments.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. We're complete opposites. We have completely different skill sets. If you want me to be very honest, when we speak, and we speak pretty regularly, is a rock for me because I'm a bit of a lunatic, and I'm the octopus with all the things going on. And Patrick basically brings me back to Mother Earth. My background is I'm an ex-London advertising agency owner and studio owner for many, many decades. And my thing that I bring with Case Mastermind is, when the questions are asked, is bringing some common sense to an advertising and marketing strategy, but with a big emphasis on close the deal. How do you close the deal? You can do 1,000,001 things, but if you don't know how to close, there is potential failure. So my big thing is giving people an education in the art of closure.
Right. So there you go. That's the proof of you need to complement each other with different skill sets. So this is a living proof, right?
Well,
that's why I asked you, because
we'll let Patrick answer, obviously, his forte.
Yeah, Melvin's a right pain. No, not really.
No, listen, I'm very happy to admit that, it is part of my character. I can't change that. At leopards and spots, it's very difficult. But, it's all done with the best possible intent. I don't wish and mean to be harmful or rude or give people the wrong idea. Because 42 years I've been in business, Raj. Mm-hmm. Yes, I've had lots of ups and downs, but there have been many more ups and downs.
Right.
Yeah. And I think, in answer to that, Melvin matches I mean, I've said this to a couple of people recently, actually, that when I started Case, I tried to onboard with other people to help, because it was nice to have somebody else to work with. And their level of passion was like 20% of mine. Whereas with Melvin, his level of passion is the same as mine to get this to work. So now I'm not pulling someone along, we're pushing each other, and it is so different. And I've had to go through a few different people along the way until Melvin and I met, and then we resonated like that. And we're totally different. I like to take this softly approach, and Melvin likes to take this really direct approach, and that's good because we balance each other out. It's like politics. You have two things at either end, and hopefully what you can do is they can balance one another out in the middle, But
what's interesting is we do Case Mastermind, I mean, you could say freely, all right, we do charge £8 a session, which is not going to make us a fortune, but and there will be fees for the Close Mastermind groups, but this is done to help people who want to help themselves. Mm-hmm. We don't want people that have no interest in that, because we may as well just go and knock our heads against the wall.
Right.
But what Patrick has done, and I have 2 or 3 other, I mean, this is why I used the word buddies earlier. Patrick is one of my buddies, and I have 2 or 3 others who have different kind of skill sets. And it helps me with my, let's say, my business world outside of Case Mastermind. I mean, it's soul searching, but it means that we all sleep well at night. And during the day, we are able to make money, because that's what we do this for, because we all want a nicer life.
Yeah.
But can I come back to you, Raj, if I may?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You've written a book that's relative to this subject matter. Is that correct?
Yeah, from a personal brand standpoint, yes. It's called Skyrocket Your Career. And the subtitle is The No Bullshit Approach to Find Your Dream Job, Be Successful in It, and Transform into a rock star. But yeah, I do cover personal branding, social media, building social media footprint for a 9-to-5 kind of job, and also for entrepreneurs as well.
Cool. So where can I buy
that? Excuse me. So if you go to skyrocketyourcareerbook.com, skyrocketyourcareerbook.com, there you'll see different links to buy the book. And also, I give away the first chapter for free, because I get it. There's this guy who talks great about his book, and then you buy the book and it's really a shitty book, right? I've been there. So to avoid that from happening, so people can download the first chapter for free, and then if they find value from it, then they could buy the book. But if they go to that website, you're gonna find free templates, workshop videos. First, you'll get the first chapter for free, and also just at the beginning of the podcast, we were talking about merchandises as well. So, for example, you can get merchandises like this, which personally designed by my wife and I, and 50% of the profits go to charity, and the rest actually goes in maintenance. I don't make any money off it, but you could at least wear something which is inspiring. But coming back to the book, that's what you do, and it's 99 pages. When I said no bullshit approach, I literally mean that, because I combine my experiences with strategies. And
I take my hat off to you, matey. I mean, that's really terrific.
Thank you.
I have a question for you, though.
Sure.
Because you've mentioned it on a couple of occasions now. So I like your book. I would like to talk to you. How do I do that?
So I live on LinkedIn. So you could always follow me, connect with me, and ping me on LinkedIn, right? So you'll get an answer within 5 to 10 minutes. And also, all my life's work is on my website, rajsubra.com. So RAJSUBRA.com. If you go there, you'll find details about why I do what I do, and you have a contact me page, so you can contact me there as well. But yeah, those are the 2 different ways I would say you can best reach me. But LinkedIn is where I live, so you can just hit me up on LinkedIn. Okay, so the big question is, because you've been incredibly charitable, so do you engage with people and charge fees for taking them on a journey? Taking knowledge?
Taking an entrepreneur on a coached journey. Do you charge for that?
So it depends upon the people. So as part of my mission, so I always have goals every year, and I do 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 pro bono work. So what that means is, for free, I help them for 6 months or a year based on the situation. For example, not to toot my own horn, but last year I helped a lady who immigrated from Nigeria to your place in the UK, and she had 2 kids looking for a job, doesn't have money. And I helped her get a job, and now she can fund for her family, right? So I do take in based on a case-by-case basis, but my mission is to do 3 to 5 pro bono work. So yeah, if anyone who's an entrepreneur or one who's stuck in their careers and cannot afford it, and trying to figure out what the meaning of life is, definitely get in touch with me, because that's why I do what I do. I left a $200,000 job to start my own business, okay? And I was filthy rich before, okay? Now I make decent money, but when I wake up every day in the morning, I know I've changed lives. I've helped immigrants who were supposed to be, who had to get out of the United States within 90 days, get a job at Amazon. I've helped people, increase their salary by 40%. And when I see the joy in their face when they change lives, that's what actually matters. Yes, I know this is too meta, but the point is, once you get older, you start realizing what's meaning in life, and everyone gets into the venture in that soul searching mode. And my mission in life, I think I was put on this earth to impact people in the best way possible, which is helping them get unstuck in their careers. So,
well, that's terrific case histories. I mean, that's made this podcast. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah. And at any point of time in your mastermind and stuff, if you really want someone to talk about their journey and stuff, I would do it for free, of course, because the point is, I know money is one thing. Everyone needs money. Okay, let's not be idealistic here. As you said, Melvin, yes, we do stuff, but we charge money for it. That's because you are giving the golden nuggets, which you have learned over 42 years of failing and succeeding in, say, 1 month or 2 months. You deserve to be paid for it. Okay, we are not. The point is, you went through a journey. You deserve to be paid for it. Okay, and similar to me, I've gone through 16 years of a lot of ups and downs. But within 3 months, within 1 month, within 8 hours, I'm going to give you the golden nuggets so that you don't have to fail. Right. So you're changing lives, and there's nothing wrong getting paid for it, okay? Because you have to value yourself, because if you're going to give everything for free, that means you are not valuing the skill set you have, which is impacting people.
I do a very similar thing, not quite the same, very similar, but I go into business, I go and look at people's businesses, and I basically take on a project where I don't charge a penny.
Right.
But what I do is I take a commission of sales on any new business delivered. Which means that I'm not going to be killing the business to have my services. But when it makes a fortune, yes, I expect a big payday.
Yeah.
And that's the way I do it. I don't work any other way.
No, I think that's a great strategy. For me, for some people, once they get the job and get their life back on track, I would say whenever you feel like paying me, you pay me, whatever you can afford, right? That is one way of doing it. And another way of doing it is when you get a job, 3 or 4% of your base salary, you can give me in increments of monthly payments or whatever. But I think, as you said, it's case by case basis. But I think people have this wrong stigma that, oh my God, I have to charge for my service. Of course you have to charge for your service. Then who is going to give you the food? Who's going to support your family? If you are not supporting your family, who the hell is going to come and do it, right? So the point is, let's not be idealistic here. Everyone needs money, but there's good ways of making money. And I think that's what we are talking about here. And that's something you always want to keep in mind.
Common sense valuations.
Exactly. Yep.
So Patrick, have we covered all the bullet points this afternoon?
I think we've covered. We've gone on a vast journey with Raj this afternoon, which is fantastic.
We've gone completely off point.
But we did give a lot of actionable strategies for
we've put the World Bank to rights, Raj.
I know, right? I think we should record this for 3 hours, give strategies, and then sell this as a course. Yeah. See, that's another way as an entrepreneur thinks.
I think for the best interest of the interested listener or viewer, that we should actually do one of these once a quarter, Patrick, and just blow our heads and blow everyone's mind.
Sounds like a good idea. So thanks very much for sharing all of that today, Raj. And I noticed, and I will note at this point, that you did stay on topic until Melvin started talking, and then, like normal, he takes
all golden nuggets, man.
I always get the blame.
That's what happens when different people who have value to give combine, because we have a theme, but I think the key is giving your audience strategies. I think that's what your podcast is about. Yeah. And I think this episode definitely did that. Not only strategies from me, but strategies from both of you as well, right? Yeah. And I think that's what people want to hear. They don't want scripted shit, having 4 questions and then talking about it.
I can't do all that. No.
Yeah.
If it doesn't fly from the hip, it doesn't fly.
Right.
And you hit the magic word, focus.
Yep.
And that's where a lot of people have to take their current lifestyles, sit down, blank piece of paper, and think, whoa, there's all this going on. Which and where am I going to focus?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've been there. I've had to do it myself. I've had to take advice, just like you, Raj. Patrick's done it too. And if we're clever, that's what shrewd people do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that that sums it up. It's been a terrific podcast, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, now you're going to get 20 questions.
It's not quite as many as 20. Don't let it all.
So one thing you both don't know about me is I don't have shame or feelings, and I find joy in making a fool of myself in public. So I don't think this is going to be hard for me, even if I'm not able to answer the question.
Join our club, Raj. we are now triplets.
Excellent. So we're going to lead into our favoritism round. So we want to know a few of your favorites. So we're going to start off with your favorite pastime or hobby. And I think I know the answer to this.
We talked in detail about this before our podcast interview. I'm huge into craft beer. At one point, I had 150 different types of beers in my basement. But COVID hit, and then I had to drink all the beer like everyone else.
What a terrible life.
I know, that's a terrible life to live. And then the next question would be, I know this is a rapid fire question, but I have to tell this because I often get this question. People say, how do you get 150 different types of beers in the first place, right? So I travel and I speak at conferences all over the world. So what I do is, and this is a trick, people, if you're listening, listen well here, because what you do is buy canned beers, wrap them in a towel, and then put that in your check-in luggage. And then it transports magically to the place where you live at. And then you have deep freezers, and then you have cool basement, and beers, last really, really long. So that's how I collect beer, and all my money goes in craft beer. I don't have the fancy watches, gadgets, but all my money is about experiences and beer. But that's the long answer for your rapid fire question.
A great answer. I hope you've got plenty of Belgian and German beers. They're rather lovely. Lots of yeast.
Nice.
Lots of yeast.
Nice.
And yeah, we don't like one word answers anyway. We do like a little bit of a story. So
okay, then that's good, because I don't want to hijack your rapid fire.
Wait for the next question.
So, who is your favorite celebrity from any field and why?
Any field.
Yeah, any field.
Movie.
Okay. My favorite celebrity is Lewis Howes. Not a lot of people know about him. He is a lifestyle entrepreneur, and he is the host of the famous podcast School of Greatness, which is one of the top 5 podcasts in the world. And he hosts a conference called the Summit of Greatness, which I went to, and that was a trigger event for me to get motivated to start my own business and make it big.
Oh my God! You started Patrick off now. He'll be on it.
He's been my inspiration. He has 1,120 episodes till now, and he's a New York Times bestseller. He's been on so many TV shows, and he is my idol, Lewis Howes, because he's a normal guy. He's not flashy like Gary Vee or other folks, but he does his thing really well, and he inspires and motivates people, and that's what I love about him.
Yeah.
Lewis Howes, School of Greatness, check him out.
Well, there you go, Gary Vaynerchuk, eat your heart out, Patrick. your hero. Your hero has just been surpassed. Patrick doesn't stop banging on about Gary.
I've just referred to my important filing system called Google, and found Lewis Howes, and he was a former American football player. Is that
Yep, he was a football
Okay.
player. He wanted to get into the NFL, but he got injured. So he was in the next division of football. He broke different records in football and college football as well. Then he got hurt, and then he was broke, sitting in his sister's couch, thinking about what to do. And then he started helping people on LinkedIn. And then he wrote a book about how to grow your brand on LinkedIn. And then he started his podcast, which as a side hustle now, which became his new main business because that's the top 5 in the world.
Yeah.
He has like millions and millions of people who listen to his podcast. And then he made that into a business. And then he also wrote a book about his life, which became a New York Times bestseller, and the rest was history. So now he has all that stuff happening.
That's fantastic.
I'll see you at the end of 2022, Patrick. You'll be watching every one of those episodes.
and no, it's good because I think with America, America is very sports focused, and they've got quite a number of national sports as well. And sports and success it's very interwoven because sports people have to be very driven, very motivated. They have to train religiously, and they have to have such a great work ethic about them that.
But they also have to be naturally competitive, Patrick.
Yes, which is a real driver, isn't it, for people? I know it's pretty bad when you play Monopoly with them. They normally throw the board in the air when they're losing.
Oh, yeah.
I think sports teaches people discipline and consistency, which is the key to anything you do in life, right? Anything, absolutely. You need discipline. More than motivation, you need discipline, because there are going to be days when you're not motivated to do shit. But then you need the discipline, which will make you do stuff, right? So discipline is number one. I know we talk a lot about motivation, but discipline is the key for you to do anything.
So come on, Patrick, let's get the next question out.
All right, here you go. This is where Melvin starts hurrying me up, Raj. This happens frequently, by the way. Right.
Discipline.
Raj, your favourite food or meal?
My favorite food is the Chicago deep dish pizza. So for people who do not know what that is, it's basically like a 3-inch, 4-inch thick pizza filled with cheese and vegetables and whatever you want to put in it. It's amazing.
I'm out here. I'm going to go and eat this.
It has a butter crust, and then it's, oh my God, now I'm salivating just talking about it. And I'm getting emotional right now because that's what happens with food and beer for me. But the Chicago deep dish pizza, and just Google that, and then you'll know what I mean. And it's just unbelievable. It's a staple of Chicago. That's what Chicago is famous for. Of course, one of the things Chicago is famous for. And that's my favorite of pizza. And I like it so much that I can eat a large pizza in one sitting with 3 to 4 beers. And my wife made a rule that you're never going to buy deep dish pizza unless people come to visit us. So I'm under a stipulation where I cannot buy deep dish pizzas unless someone comes and visits us, because there was one time where I was having deep dish pizzas twice a week and I gained 50 pounds. So the point is, I have the rule. But again, coming back to your question, it's Chicago deep dish pizza, hands down. I could eat it every day, rest of my life. Yeah,
I'm on the next flight into O'Hare. I'm on my way.
You should. I would love to show you around Chicago and introduce you to Chicago food and beer.
Well, maybe I'll drop across. You never know.
And I assume that once that rule was set, Raj, you've invited people around quite regularly.
I know, and when you come, that means that I can order a Chicago deep dish pizza. Otherwise, I'm not allowed to order it. There's a strict no order policy with no visitors.
Wonderful.
Love it. I love it. That's excellent. Excellent. Right. So moving on from that question, the next question is your favorite cartoon.
My favorite cartoon. Yeah. I think my favorite cartoon would be Tom and Jerry. It's a classic. I love Tom and Jerry. And it's, I grew up watching Tom and Jerry. I still love those cartoons because, it's, you don't have to think about stuff. There's so many things happening in life, but when you see Tom and Jerry, it's funny. And I love Jerry and Tom's, relationship. It's a love-hate relationship. It actually signifies a lot of things we go through life as well. But yeah, Tom and Jerry would be my favorite cartoon. For sure.
Excellent. And the old ones were the best, weren't they? The more violent they were, the funnier they were, weren't they?
I know. Yeah. I agree. I agree with the old ones.
Yeah, they were brilliant. And I know I used to love Tom and Jerry. I used to love sitting there listening to my dad, my granddad, and my uncle laughing at it more than me, and that made it even funnier. But I know that Yasser Arafat, apparently, that was his favourite thing to watch, was Tom and Jerry. And if he had a world leader come and visit him, his thing was to sit down with them and watch Tom and Jerry.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's a fun fact.
We'll have to ask Ken Livingstone.
Yeah, you never know. He might have visited him and had to watch a couple of episodes. Very good. Okay, so moving on from the cartoon world, what is your favourite film?
Wow.
I love that question.
That's a really tough one because I'm a huge Marvel fan. I've watched every Marvel superhero movie, but a movie which really, really impacted me emotionally was Pursuit of Happiness by Will Smith. It's called The Pursuit of Happiness. It's a real life story.
Very big tearjerker.
Yeah. Wow, it moved me. I don't want to give the whole movie plot away because I want to give people a chance to look at it, but it's about a rags to riches story. Story about the pursuit for living a better life, being motivated, and taking no for an answer, right? Not taking no for an answer. And you'll get goosebumps, man. Pursuit of Happiness. Definitely go check it out.
It's a top film.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And it is based on a true story. Is that right?
Yep, it's based on a true story, 100%. And I didn't want to tell the story because then I'm gonna spoil everything for your audience. So
yeah. I mean, I always remember there's a bit in the film, and this shouldn't ruin it for anyone. The bit in the film where he's making the phone calls, and he noticed that everybody else was putting the receiver down, and that he thought to himself, "If I just put my finger on the thing and then dial again, I'm saving 20 seconds a call," and he could get those extra calls in and everything else. And it was just that so thorough and so determined. He was looking at every opportunity, like a sportsman, really. How can I get it this better? How can I do this more? How can I? And
he was in the lowest point in his life, and he had to figure out something. It was a do or die situation for him. And he'll also have a son. That's the only thing I'm going to give away.
Spoiler alert.
But the point is, you'll see that anyways, if I keep talking about it, then it just really inspires me, man.
That's a brilliant
in a few months, but when we do the next podcast, we'll test everybody out.
I know.
Excellent. Right, so your favorite TV show?
I would say favorite TV show is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So it's a comedy show, and it's about a police precinct, and then all the fun things they do. I've watched it 4 times, and I'm on my 5th time right now. I started the first season. It's hilarious.
It has its moments. It's a bit dark sometimes.
Yeah, but it's the folks from SNL. Saturday Night Live, which is a famous show here, and they act in it, and it's just amazing. And I love how they talk about real issues as well, like racism and a lot of stuff, but they make it so funny. And that's hands down one of my best, the TV shows I watch.
We get that here on Sky. We got it.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
Excellent. I've not seen that one, so that's I'd add that to the list, Melvin.
Fabulous. Very fun.
I always take this round as the round of recommendations for Patrick to watch things. So
I hope you watch these recordings back, Patrick.
Right, so last one now. Your favourite comedy or comedian?
Ooh, man, that is really hard. My only genre to watch for entertainment is comedy, and of course, just the Marvel movies, usually. But if given an option, I would say Russell Peters So Russell Peters is a Canadian
Oh my
Indian
God.
Canadian
Yeah,
Indian dude.
he's amazing, amazing.
He's unbelievable. So he makes fun of people like me and mainly Asian folks, and it's hilarious. He's so witty because he has a lot of Netflix specials. So go check it out by Russell
Yeah.
Peters. I've seen him live 3 times. He's
Patrick,
hilarious.
Patrick, just get on TikTok. He does a lot of features.
Oh, does he?
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
but the point is, he's so witty that even in his Netflix shows, there'll be a lot of hecklers who just randomly start talking, and oh my God, he'll get that heckler and then beat him down to
He
shit.
destroys them, doesn't he?
Yeah, because he's so witty. He's so witty, and he's just unbelievable facial expressions and
I
stuff.
didn't know he was Canadian. That's a bit of a curve for me. That's
Yep, he's a
interesting.
Canadian Indian dude who was born in who family was born in India, and then he was born in Mississauga near Toronto in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wicked.
Excellent.
I like that. I like that.
Excellent. So there you go. I've got my viewing for the next couple of months lined up there.
Oh God, yeah.
Eight seasons of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I shall be testing you at the end of next week.
Excellent. Well, look, I think we've done our time now. Thanks ever so much for your time today, Raj. We really appreciate it. Really enjoyed it. Enjoyed your company too. And I think without further ado, I shall say it's a goodbye from me, Patrick Twitchett.
And it's a goodbye from me, Melvin Manning.
And thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much
for having me. Lovely to have you, Raj.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure talking to both of you. And this didn't even feel like an interview. This was like a conversation, and the only thing missing was beer. And hopefully one day we could, if you come to the United States or I travel to UK, we could, chat.
I'm hoping to be in Jersey City next month, so we'll see.
Oh, there you go. You never know. You never know. And if you come here, I'm sure we can still get a Chicago deep crust pizza. And
yes, they sell it. They sell frozen ones. They sell frozen ones. You could get, and then I could get frozen ones. And if I come to the UK,
nothing like the real thing fresh though.
And oh, that is true. But something better than nothing. And then Patrick or Melvin will be waiting at the airport to pick me up because you want to immediately cook the deep dish pizza because it's travel, right? So I get free pickup with the Chicago deep dish pizza.
Don't worry, when I arrive at the airport, I'll be hiring a pickup truck to bring it.
Right, pickup truck,
Excellent. So
anyway, you've done it to me again, Patrick.
Pardon?
You've done it to me again.
What's that?
Hour and a half.
Yeah, you love it. Right, goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Anyway, thanks, Raj.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.